The most honest language in the world is not spoken with words, it is spoken with energy. Words can deceive, smiles can disguise, actions can even mislead, but energy never lies. When you walk into a room, before a single word is exchanged, your body feels the energy. You know when someone is genuinely happy to see you, because your spirit feels lighter, your breath flows easier, your heart feels safe. And you know when someone's presence carries weight, when the atmosphere shifts, when something inside you whispers that this person is not here to uplift you but to drain you. That voice, that instinct, that sensation is not imagination, it is truth. Energy always reveals what words try to hide. In friendships and family, it is often harder to accept this truth. These are the people you expect to love you without condition, the people you trust by default, the people you believe will always want the best for you. But life has a way of showing you that titles do not guarantee loyalty. Some of the deepest wounds come from those who should have protected you, and the only way to navigate these painful realities is to stop listening only to what people say and start paying attention to how they make you feel. If someone constantly leaves you feeling unworthy, drained, or anxious, that is not love. That is a warning sign. Energy is revealed in patterns. Anyone can be kind once, supportive once, encouraging once. But what matters is consistency. Does this person celebrate your success with joy, or do they change the subject quickly because your growth threatens their comfort? Do they listen when you speak, or do they turn the conversation back to themselves every time? Do they uplift you when you are struggling, or do they use your weakness as an opportunity to remind you of your flaws? You may ignore these little things at first, convincing yourself that you are imagining it, that maybe they didn't mean it that way, that family or friends should get a pass. But the truth is, repeated patterns of draining energy reveal the reality of someone's heart. It does not matter what they call themselves in your life. If their presence constantly diminishes you, they are not here for your growth. Energy is also revealed in silence. Notice who is quiet when you share your victories. Notice who doesn't clap when you shine. Notice who disappears when you need support, but always reappears when they need something from you. True friends and loving family want to see you win. They take pride in your success as if it were their own. They lift you higher when you doubt yourself. They speak life into you when you are discouraged. But the ones who drain you are different. They may smile on the surface, but deep inside they feel envy, comparison, and resentment. And though they may never say it out loud, their energy leaks through. You feel it in the awkward pauses, in the lack of enthusiasm, in the subtle shade. They don't have to admit it, you already know, because energy never lies. The danger comes when you ignore your intuition. Too many people feel the heaviness of certain relationships but choose to look the other way because of loyalty, history, or guilt. They say, but she's my friend, he's my brother, she's my cousin, he's been in my life for years. They confuse longevity with love. But someone can stand beside you for decades and still secretly root against you. Time does not prove loyalty, energy does. And when you silence that inner knowing, you give power to those who do not deserve it. You allow them to drain you, to dim you, to slow your progress, all because you were afraid to trust yourself. Pay attention to your body, because it speaks louder than your mind sometimes. When you're around someone who fuels your growth, your shoulders relax, your smile feels natural, your heart feels open. When you're around someone who drains you, your stomach knots, your chest tightens, your energy lowers. That is not just coincidence. It is your body warning you that this connection is unsafe. Imagine touching a fire and feeling pain. Would you keep touching it because it looks beautiful? No, you would listen to your senses and pull away. So why ignore the signals your body gives when someone's energy burns your spirit? The truth is, it takes courage to admit that people you love may not love you in the way you deserve. It takes strength to face the fact that not everyone close to you wants to see you rise. It is painful to realize that someone who laughs with you may secretly envy you, that someone who hugs you may also criticize you behind your back, that someone who claims to protect you may quietly sabotage you. But denial does not protect you. It only prolongs the harm. The moment you accept what your energy has been telling you all along, you begin to free yourself from the invisible chains of their influence. Understanding energy also helps you see the difference between those who push you forward and those who hold you back. When someone fuels you, they challenge you, not with cruelty, but with encouragement. They tell you the truth in love, they believe in your vision, they remind you of your strength when you forget it. Being around them makes you want to be better, to rise higher, to keep going. That is empowering energy. In contrast, draining energy makes you feel small. It mocks your ambition, it feeds your doubts, it magnifies your flaws. You leave feeling weaker than you came. That is not love. It is sabotage disguised as concern. Energy also teaches you to stop chasing explanations. Too many people waste time trying to understand why a friend turned distant, why a family member is cold, why someone close suddenly treats them with envy. The truth is, You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to hear confessions or confrontations to accept the reality of how you feel. If their energy is heavy, if your spirit feels drained, that is all the evidence you need. Your peace is more important than forcing relationships to make sense. Some truths are not meant to be explained, only acknowledged, and here is the most important part. You are not responsible for fixing the demons in others. You are not required to shrink so they feel comfortable, to dim your light so they do not feel insecure, to carry their jealousy as your burden. You are only responsible for protecting your own energy. You cannot change how they feel about you, but you can change how much access they have to you. You can choose to step back, to limit your time, to guard your spirit. You can choose to surround yourself with people who genuinely want to see you shine. Energy never lies, and once you trust it, your life transforms. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop excusing toxic behavior. You stop wasting time on people who drain you. Instead, you invest in those who pour into you, who celebrate your wins, who make your spirit feel alive. You begin to thrive because your circle becomes a source of strength instead of a source of exhaustion. And when you finally embrace this truth, you will see that the glow you have been searching for, the peace you have been longing for, the freedom you have been craving, was always waiting for you on the other side of honesty. Honesty with yourself about who belongs in your life and who does not. The courage to admit what your spirit has been telling you all along, the wisdom to realize that energy never lies, and the strength to act on it. People often confuse kindness with weakness, compassion with submission, and loyalty with self-sacrifice. From the earliest stages of life, many are taught that to be a good child, a good friend, a good partner, or a good family member means always giving, always saying yes, always being available, always putting others before themselves. But this belief is one of the most dangerous traps of life, because in the name of love, loyalty, or obligation, people end up giving away pieces of themselves until they are empty, exhausted, and lost. Boundaries are the shield that protect you from this slow destruction. They are not walls meant to isolate, they are gates meant to filter, and the moment you realize that boundaries are protection, not cruelty, you take back control of your life. The truth is, people will take as much as you allow. If you have no lines drawn, others will cross them without hesitation. If you say yes when you mean no, your voice loses its power. If you tolerate disrespect, it becomes normalized. And if you excuse toxic behavior in the name of love, that behavior becomes your prison. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. They are a declaration that your time, energy, emotions, and peace have value, and you will not allow them to be mistreated. Without boundaries, you lose yourself trying to please everyone else. With boundaries, you preserve your dignity while still giving love in a healthy, balanced way. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection. They worry that saying no will make others angry, that distancing themselves will hurt feelings, that speaking up will lead to conflict. But here is the harsh truth. The people who truly respect you will honor your boundaries, and the ones who only seek to use you will resist them. Boundaries do not destroy relationships, they reveal the truth about them. If someone only stays close when you are constantly available, constantly sacrificing, constantly giving, then their love was conditional from the start. Boundaries shine light on who values you and who only values what they can take from you. Setting boundaries is also about teaching others how to treat you. You cannot expect people to respect limits you never communicate. If you allow someone to speak to you disrespectfully and remain silent, you teach them that their behavior is acceptable. If you let someone repeatedly cross your time and space without correction, you teach them that your needs are unimportant. Boundaries are the language of self-respect. They tell others, this is where I end and you begin. This is what I can allow, and this is what I cannot tolerate. Without that clarity, relationships become imbalanced, and you end up carrying the weight of resentment, while others remain oblivious to the damage they cause. It is important to understand that boundaries do not make you unkind. In fact, they make your kindness stronger, because kindness without boundaries is not kindness. It is self-neglect. When you say yes to everyone while saying no to yourself, you are not being generous, you are abandoning your own needs. Real kindness comes from a place of fullness, where you give not out of guilt or fear, but out of genuine love. Boundaries protect that love. They ensure that you are not drained, manipulated, or controlled, but that your giving remains pure and balanced. Think of boundaries as the way you protect your home. You would not allow anyone to walk through your door without knocking. You would not allow a stranger to take your belongings without permission. You would not let someone break your windows and excuse it as love. Yet people allow emotional invasions every day because they are afraid to draw the line. They let others insult them, manipulate them, guilt them, control them, and still convince themselves that enduring it is what makes them loving. But just like a home, your heart needs doors, locks, and protection. Not everyone deserves access to every room of your life. Some people can stand at the gate, others may sit in the living room, and only a trusted few should ever enter your sacred space. That is not cruelty, that is wisdom. Another fear people have when it comes to boundaries is the fear of being misunderstood. They worry that people will label them as selfish, arrogant, distant, or cold. But it is better to be misunderstood than to be mistreated. You cannot live your life constantly bending to the comfort of others while ignoring your own discomfort. The people who accuse you of being selfish for having boundaries are the very people who benefited from your lack of them. Their resistance is not proof that you are wrong, it is proof that your boundaries are working. It means they can no longer exploit you, and that is not your loss, it is your liberation. Boundaries also give you back your time and energy. Without them, your days are filled with obligations you never wanted, conversations that exhaust you, commitments that drain you. With them, you reclaim the freedom to focus on what matters: your growth, your peace, your dreams, your well-being. Every no you give to someone who tries to overstep is a yes to yourself. Every time you protect your space, you create room for the things and people that truly deserve it. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they are about saying yes to yourself. One of the greatest lessons boundaries teach is that love without respect is not love at all. People may say they love you, but if their actions constantly harm you, if their presence constantly diminishes you, if their behavior constantly violates your peace, then their love is not healthy. Boundaries are the test of real love. True love adjusts to respect your limits. True love honors your needs. True love does not demand endless sacrifice while giving little in return. When you enforce boundaries, you filter out the people who only want to take and keep the ones who are willing to grow with you. It is also important to remember that boundaries evolve as you evolve. What you tolerated 5 years ago may no longer align with who you are today. Growth requires you to reset the standards of what you will accept. That does not mean you have changed for the worse. It means you have recognized your worth more deeply. Do not feel guilty for raising the bar. The people who truly belong in your life will rise to meet it. Those who cannot will fall away, and that is how you create space for healthier, more empowering relationships. Boundaries are also a form of emotional maturity. Instead of blaming others for how they treat you, you take responsibility by teaching them how to treat you. Instead of exploding in anger after years of silent resentment, you communicate clearly and directly. Instead of expecting people to read your mind, you express your needs openly. This level of honesty may feel uncomfortable at first, but it prevents greater pain in the future. Clear boundaries lead to clear relationships. Unspoken boundaries lead to broken ones. Perhaps the most powerful truth about boundaries is that they protect your identity. Without them, you become a reflection of what everyone else wants you to be. You lose your voice trying to please others. You lose your dreams trying to meet their expectations. You lose your peace trying to avoid conflict. But with boundaries, you reclaim yourself. You remind the world that you are not here to be controlled, but to live fully and authentically. You remind yourself that your worth is not measured by how much you tolerate, but by how much you respect yourself. When you set boundaries, some people will leave, and that will hurt. But remember, what you lose in numbers, you gain in quality. The ones who remain are the ones who truly love you, not for what you give, but for who you are. The ones who respect your boundaries are the ones who are meant to walk beside you in this journey of life. The rest were never meant to stay. Boundaries are not cruelty, they are clarity. They are not selfishness, they are self-preservation. They are not rejection, they are protection. And when you finally embrace them, you stop living as a prisoner of other people's expectations and start living as the guardian of your own soul. There comes a point in life when you realize that holding on is far more damaging than letting go. For years you may have carried the weight of relationships that drained you, convinced yourself that loyalty meant enduring, told yourself that things would change if you just gave more love, more patience, more sacrifice. But the truth is, no amount of giving can change someone who is committed to taking. No amount of patience can heal someone who refuses to see their own poison. No amount of loyalty can transform betrayal into love. At some point, the bravest thing you can do is to walk away, not with bitterness, not with revenge, but with the quiet power of someone who finally chose themselves. Walking away is not weakness. In fact, it is one of the strongest choices you will ever make. It takes strength to release what is familiar, even when it is harmful. It takes courage to step into uncertainty rather than remain in pain that feels safe. It takes wisdom to know that not every person who begins with you is meant to finish with you. Walking away is not abandonment of love, it is protection of self. It is saying, I will no longer hand you the keys to my peace, my energy, my worth. It is reclaiming the power that you unknowingly gave away when you allowed toxic people to define your life. So many people remain trapped in cycles of toxic relationships because they are afraid of being alone. They believe that some company, no matter how harmful, is better than silence. But loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the absence of peace. There is nothing lonelier than being surrounded by people who do not value you, people who diminish you, people who clip your wings instead of helping you fly. Choosing solitude over toxicity is not isolation, it is liberation. In that space you discover yourself again. You find your voice, your strength, your dreams, your joy. And when you walk away from what drains you, you create space for what heals you. Walking away is also an act of self-respect. For too long, you may have let others decide your worth by how they treated you. You believed their criticism, their rejection, their coldness. You lowered your standards to match their inability to rise. But the day you decide to walk away is the day you stop negotiating your value. It is the day you say, I am no longer available for disrespect, for manipulation, for half love, for inconsistency. It is the day you stop begging for the bare minimum and start demanding the fullness of what you deserve. That is not arrogance, it is dignity, and dignity is the foundation of every empowered life. The act of walking away is not just about leaving people, it is about leaving patterns. Toxicity often repeats because we accept it once, excuse it twice, and normalize it the third time. You may think, this is just how it is, this is just who they are. But those words become chains that bind you. Walking away means breaking the cycle. It means saying, this ends with me. It means refusing to pass down the same patterns of pain to the next chapter of your life. When you reclaim your power, you rewrite your story. You stop being the victim of someone else's behavior and become the author of your own future. Some will try to make you feel guilty for leaving. They will call you ungrateful, selfish, arrogant, or disloyal. But understand this, guilt is the favorite weapon of toxic people. They use it to keep you small, to keep you submissive, to keep you trapped. Real love does not demand that you suffer endlessly to prove your loyalty. Real love does not require you to sacrifice your peace for someone else's comfort. When you walk away, you may lose their approval, but you gain your freedom, and freedom is worth more than any opinion, any title, any false sense of belonging. Reclaiming your power also means refusing to let the pain define you. Toxic relationships leave scars. They can make you doubt yourself, question your worth, silence your voice. But you must remember that you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. Walking away is the first step, but reclaiming power is about transforming the pain into purpose. It is about saying, yes, they tried to break me, but I am still here. Yes, they tried to dim me, but I still shine. Yes, they tried to drain me, but I still rise. The greatest revenge against toxicity is not hatred, it is growth. It is living so fully, so freely, so unapologetically that nothing from the past can chain you again. Walking away also forces you to trust yourself. Toxicity thrives when you doubt your instincts, when you question your own truth, when you allow others to convince you that your feelings are invalid. But the moment you step away, you begin to hear your own voice again. You begin to trust the wisdom inside you that was always there but drowned out by manipulation. You start to believe in your ability to choose what is best for you, that self-trust is the ultimate form of power, because once you have it, no one can control you again. It is important to understand that walking away is not about hate. Hate keeps you tied to the very people you are trying to escape. Walking away is about indifference. It is about no longer giving them the privilege of your attention, your energy, your reaction. It is about rising so high that their drama can no longer reach you. It is about healing so deeply that their poison no longer touches your spirit. The opposite of love is not hate, it is freedom. Walking away gives you that freedom. As you reclaim your power, you will notice something extraordinary. Your glow returns. The heaviness you carried begins to lift. The energy that was drained starts to flow back into your dreams, your passions, your joy. People will ask, what changed? And the answer will be simple. You did. You chose yourself. You chose peace over chaos, dignity over disrespect, freedom over fear, and in choosing yourself, you became unstoppable. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of walking away. When you choose to leave toxicity behind, you give others permission to do the same. You show them that it is possible to survive without the chains they thought they could never break. You inspire them to rise, to protect themselves, to reclaim their own power. Your decision becomes a light in the darkness, guiding others toward their own liberation. That is the hidden gift of walking away. It is not just about saving yourself, it is about awakening others. The truth is, walking away is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the beginning of a life where you no longer settle for less than you deserve. It is the beginning of relationships built on respect, reciprocity, and real love. It is the beginning of discovering how powerful you truly are when you are no longer weighed down by toxicity. It is the beginning of a journey where your soul is no longer caged but free to soar. And so, reclaim your power by walking away. Not in anger but in strength. Not in bitterness, but in wisdom. Not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring about yourself enough to let go. The people, the patterns, the pain that once held you down have no claim over you anymore. You are free, you are strong, you are powerful, and the life you deserve is waiting on the other side of that decision.